Now, let's talk about pronouns. Pronouns in general, for viewers who are just joining us, this is Friends in the Six, and I have my good friend for almost, let's say, 8 years or 8+ years, Nico Young, with me, and we're talking about his queer experience. But today's topic is pronouns. What do they truly mean? So let's talk about pronouns. We've seen people say he, they, she, them, etc. And we even have z.
Okay, class, so I am teacher Darren, and my pronouns are going to be z, zer, zers, and zerself. So that's how you will address me, yes?
So what about she, her, hers, herself? That's what we know.
Yes, but I am gender neutral, so I am not a female nor am I a male. I would be in between. So right here would be my pronouns. So instead of she or he, you would refer as z. Instead of her or him, you would refer as zer. Instead of her or his, it would be zer. Yes, in the back.
So I'm sorry, I'm confused. Are you Mr. Darren? Miss Darren?
No, I am teacher Darren. There would be no Mr. or Mrs. in front of that, just teacher Darren.
Wouldn't it be zister or zis?
They haven't created that word yet, but you're on the right track. So it is just teacher Darren for now. Yes.
You look like a pretty lady to me.
Well, thank you. Most people would take that as a compliment, but I am gender neutral, so I am not a lady. I can be pretty, but not a lady. Yes.
So you can't be pretty or
I said I can be pretty.
So you can be pretty and you can be handsome, but you are not a she that is pretty and you are not a he that is handsome.
Correct.
Like one of the viral video we saw. What is your take on pronouns? Are they really important? Is that what the LGBTQ plus 2+ IA community should be focused on right now?
I think it's extremely important, actually. I think pronouns are actually very normal and natural and things that we use all the time. I think the emphasis on people's negative feelings or just like resistance to pronouns, I think is really odd, because even growing up and learning the English language, pronouns are all throughout it. In your speech, we use pronouns all the time. We say he, him.
What about the people who argue the fact that some pronouns don't give you grammatically correct English? For example, people who whose pronouns are them and there, and they're like they and there was here.
I think once again, words and their meanings change all the time. So I don't think it's too much to adjust to they and them meaning gender neutral. It's a very easy way to say that, and I don't think anybody would be confused, especially if I love their pants. How hard is that? It's not hard. So I think people's resistance doesn't, I get it, because I think people might be a little, I don't say it's because they're homophobic or ignorant or anything like that. I think it's just sometimes really hard to adjust to change. Even myself, when I first learned about gender neutral pronouns, it was really hard for me to get
What are gender neutral pronouns?
It's for people who don't identify within the binary of men and women. So they don't use she, her, or he, him. They use they, them, which is gender neutral pronouns.
So what's the difference between pronouns and identity? So like cisgender, transgender, what's the difference between the pronouns and identity?
Well, cisgender means you identify with the anatomy that you were born with. Transgender means that you don't. You can identify as trans if you're using gender neutral pronouns, but you also can decide not to.
I know we are going a little bit off topic, but this is one topic I want us to educate viewers on, especially when it comes to identity. Trans people, we see a lot of people confusing transgender with cross-dressers. What's the difference between a cross-dresser and a transgender?
So a transgender individual is somebody who was born with maybe, okay, as an example, born with male anatomy, but identifies as female. So that's somebody who had transitioned and identifies as a woman, but used to at one point be a male. Whereas cross-dressing means that you just dress in the opposite gender.
Nice.
So, but what I did want to say actually about like pronouns in particular is, like I said, very simple. I do think
you do think? Yeah, go on.
I do think some people be taking it like way too far. And when I say that, I mean like, so sometimes part of what I do is I do arts facilitation. So I think it's important, pronouns are important. So I always have people introduce themselves with their names and their pronouns.
Yeah.
So in one group, we're all doing hi. By the way, my pronouns are he and him.
Yeah.
And they, if you so choose.
She.
But
Yeah.
I was like, he, him, they, them. And then it gets to the one person, they're like, their name's not Jason, but Jason, and my pronouns are God. I'm like, child. Everybody's free to express themselves however they want to, but I will not be using your pronouns. So you said Jason? Okay, I will be calling you Jason this whole meeting because I will not be calling you God.
That leads me to my next question. How many pronouns do we have in this community? Because I know he, him, she, her, they, them.
So let's just be clear. Pronouns are how you like to be referred to when somebody is not using your name.
Without using, so my pronouns could be anything.
Technically.
So my pronouns could be like.
It could be shoe. But like, that's the point where I feel like language is meant for people to understand one another, right? So if people are using pronouns that just don't necessarily make sense, then that's where you lose me.
Oh my God. I never knew that pronouns could be anything. I thought pronouns should be pronouns, as in you know what pronouns is, as a form of personification of yourself, like he, she, they, there. So you're telling me that somebody could come one day and say, my pronouns is goat, and I am forced to identify
like
that
I
person.
said, that's why I use it with the pronouns.
Minus the joke, but
Yeah.
this is a very sensitive and serious conversation.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm all here for pronouns. Pronouns are very simple. Language is literally just meant for us to understand each other. So when we're using pronouns that doesn't make sense to anybody and just doesn't like translate to another person, I'm not going to call you shoe, okay? I'm also not going to call you God. I'm a spiritual person. God has a particular strong meaning for me, so yeah. So that's the point.
So I will, because of our time, viewers will be rounding up. I'm going to have Nicole back again. Viewers, due to our time, we are going to be wrapping it up, but the house has asked me to ask certain questions, spirituality. As a queer person, and on the live, on TikTok live, somebody asked this question. She said, I find it difficult that queer people identify themselves as Christians. I'm not saying you identify as a Christian. Identify themselves as a religion who has unalived so many queer people, oppressed queer people, and weaponized queer people. As a spiritual person, do you identify as a religious sector or one of the religious sector, or are you just a spiritual person? Please explain that to us.
Okay, two things. So I just identify as spiritual. I don't really follow religion, but in response to what you're saying, I would say that religion in itself did not do harm to people. I think that what we have to understand is that people do harm. Religion is sometimes a tool that is used to persecute people, but somebody wanting to identify or connect with a religion which is about supporting yourself, creating a good guideline for leading a good life, I don't think there's anything wrong with people, whether you're queer or not, following religion. I don't want to call it the church, but I don't know a single person, pastor or holy person, individual who follows the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is all the way through every single section, okay? Everybody picks and chooses from what they want to take from the Bible, Quran, or whatever it is. So I think as long as it's something that you're using to kind of better your life and better who you are, and just follow a path towards being the best person that you can be. Follow whatever religion you want.
It was a lovely time with Nicole in this segment. I want to have Nicole again. I really want to have you because there are so many questions I want to ask you, but I can't. But please like, subscribe. Q Talk remains a non-for-profit organization speaking truth to power and leaving no stone unturned. And if you would like to support what we do here, please, you can donate. Your money is needed. You could also comment. Your words are very inspirational. And give us topics you would like us to talk about. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank
It
you
was
for
a
having me.
pleasure having you.